Welcome to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast, your guide to future tech trends and innovation in a language you understand. Now, over to your host, Neil Hughes.
Welcome back to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Now, if you follow the tech startup scene closely, or even working right in the heart of it all, today's guest has more than a few value bombs for you all. Nuxeo CMO Chris McLaughlin has moved from startup to enterprise and back again, and he has extensive CMO experience in both the startup and enterprise space. So I invited him on the podcast today so we can discuss why he left a tech behemoth like Dell ECM for a more nimble company like Nuxeo. I think all startups are searching for that secret sauce to success, but maybe, just maybe, it's not just about focusing on your own, but actually more about your customer's success, obtaining value from technology and innovation, and ultimately it's all about solutions. Does that sound appealing? Good. I'll invite you to let me beam your ears all the way to California so we can speak with Chris from Nuxeo. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Sure. My name is Chris McLaughlin. I am the Chief Marketing Officer for a company called Nuxeo. And in my role, I have responsibility for products and marketing. So product management as well as marketing, which is great. Kind of gives me front to back control over our product strategy and then how we take those products to market.
Now, you've got a fantastic history, especially in the tech world, because you were previously CMO at Dell ECM. So I suppose I've got to ask, what made you leave a big tech behemoth like Dell ECM for a more nimble company like Nuxeo?
Yeah, a couple of things there, Neil. First, I was part of Dell EMC's enterprise content division, so I was Chief Marketing Officer for them. And as you may know, they actually sold that division to OpenText.
Yeah.
So as we were kind of going through the acquisition process, they already had a CMO. So there was a reason for me to go out and look for a new job. But the second piece really, and the piece that I like to focus on a bit more is just, I've spent some time with different startups. First within Forte, which was a systems integration company out of Chicago, and then more recently with Thunderhead, kind of early stage, growing those types of organizations. And, what really attracts me to smaller, earlier stage organizations is just you get a great group of people. You typically get a product and a real focus on innovation. And an opportunity to really go out and disrupt a market. So here with Nuxeo, I saw a company, great product, great people, and a real vision for how they wanted to go out and reinvent the ECM marketplace.
Now, to people that are just listening, hearing about Nuxeo for the first time, I mean, it is known as the industry's most modern, scalable content services platform out there. But if they are just learning about you for the first time, can you help set the scene and tell them exactly what problems you solve for businesses and what makes you unique from other solutions out there?
You bet. So from a content services perspective, it's kind of a new term in our industry. Particularly Gartner has kind of taken enterprise content management and begun to focus more on content services and content services platforms. From our perspective, we look at a content services platform as a tool that really addresses, three kind of use cases. One is content management, then you have case management, and also kind of uniquely for us, we also focus on digital asset management, which are all great names. But Neil, really to keep things simple and focused, what these technologies really do is make information available to business, information available, easier to access in business processes, kind of driving better, faster decisions for organizations. We talk a lot about information, particularly the information we focus on is what they call unstructured information. So that can be anything from a document to an image or perhaps even a video. So not the stuff that fits neatly in rows and columns, but really the kind of documentation and information that we use day to day in business to make decisions, to drive processes, to enable knowledge workers in an organization. Now, the interesting thing there is that, that's the problem that organizations in enterprise content management have been solving for 20 plus years now. It's just that access to control over information. So that piece of it really hasn't changed. What has changed is that, now with digital transformation, we see the need for this information to come more quickly, more accurately in organizations. We also see a proliferation of channels, content types, where this information is stored. So content with ECM used to be all about get stuff into one place. Now it's spread across my organization. How do I better manage content, whether it sits in SharePoint, whether it sits in a sync and share repository like Dropbox, or whether it sits across a bunch of different legacy ECM environments. And it's not just documents and content, it's images, it's video, it's audio. Think about all the tools that you have now at your disposal to communicate with customers, to educate people about your organization or educate people in your organization. So as we kind of look at where we are in the marketplace today, how we differentiate, one, we're the only vendor in our space that really provides a complete set of tools, not just for document management, but also for digital asset management on one platform. Two, we really have gone after this too many systems, no solution problem in terms of enabling people to better access information, not just from our repository, but from repositories all across the organization. And from a business standpoint and a transformation standpoint, the outcome is very, very simple. One, we want to enable better business decisions. Two, we want to deliver cost savings. And three, as you think about transformation, it's really about how do we discover new revenue opportunities, new ways to improve the customer experience.
Now, we do have a lot of people on this show that are on their own startup journey, and equally there are CEOs listening too. So what kind of advice would you offer to either of those parties there that are looking to scale their marketing efforts, especially during this digital transformation that we're in the middle of?
Yeah, really the challenge for any startup organization is that there are so many different things that you can tackle. And particularly from a marketing perspective, I can talk about channel proliferation. I can talk about the challenges of content marketing and kind of that never ending, never ceasing need for new content in the organization. You got more tools, more systems than you've ever had before. And then, of course, from a marketing perspective, we're very interested in personalization. How do I address the right personas in the right verticals, in the right geographies, deliver the right message to the right person at the right time? So we talk about B2B kind of shifting more towards B2P and that personalization need. So when I look at all of that, I kind of boil it down to a few simple things. One, focus. So from a marketing perspective, from an organizational perspective, be really, really good at one thing before you try to go do 2 or 3 or 4 different things. We fight this battle every day from the standpoint of there's so many different business challenges we can solve for customers. It's easy to get distracted and try to do all of them at once. Number 2, scaling efficiently is really important. Startup organizations, we don't have unlimited resources, which means you got to hire really, really good people as you go along. 3, I talk about this all the time. Great is kind of the enemy of good enough. The big thing for a startup is to move quickly, get stuff done quickly, stay focused on really driving results, disrupting your marketplace. Along the way, you want to celebrate success, of course. You're not going to get all the way there in one day, but you are going to make meaningful steps along the way, and you should keep injecting that excitement into your organization. And of course, if you aren't succeeding, you also got to figure out how to fail fast. So the last piece is just figure out what isn't working and either fix it or don't do it.
Now, thankfully, we are moving away from the age where tech startups were just aiming to fix problems that didn't even exist yet. But are there any other mistakes that you notice in the world of startups that you see people just keep repeating again and again?
Yeah. So, number one, I'm going to go back to a previous answer, right?
Yeah.
It's all about focus. The biggest challenge I see for startups is they try to do too much too quickly. They don't focus. They get distracted. And really try to go after too many markets, too many geographies, open up too many fronts for the organization. I think the other thing that I see for startups and the other key challenge, and I talked about talent earlier, you got to remember that as you're growing an organization, your people are as important as your product. So you can't sacrifice your culture along the way. And I find that, as you're out looking for talent, attracting the right kind of talent is important, but also attracting talent that aligns with your organization, your vision, and where you want to go and fits in your culture is equally important. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have diversity. I'm not saying that you shouldn't bring differing points of view into your organization. You absolutely should, but you also should be a proper caretaker for your culture and for kind of the way that your organization works as you move forward. Because I find teams that stay in alignment, that can kind of have a good debate, can disagree, and then get aligned and move forward together, accomplish a lot more than teams that spend a lot of time bickering and cultures that are really built around discord and strife.
So just to bring you back to Nuxeo for a moment, what's your big focus there this year?
Yeah, so I talk about focus, and then I'm going to give you two answers to that question. So sorry for that, but I wear two different hats, two different roles, so you get two different answers. First and foremost for us is we are very much a platform technology, but from a customer perspective, consumption is really, really important, Neil, and making our technology more consumable for businesses is a key point of focus for us. So we are down a path where we are working on building solutions to specific business problems for our customers. This begins with us. We're actually in the process of producing a SaaS application for digital asset management. In particular, we're kind of focused on the creative work in process. So how do new digital assets, new images, new videos for marketing get produced by an organization? So a very specific application architected on top of our platform. We're also working with channel partners to kind of expand our portfolio of solutions. The goal there is just to be more relevant, more immediately accessible to business users who want to make use of our platform and our technology. It'll also help us drive awareness and kind of attract a broader customer base as we move forward. The second piece, kind of more from less product, more marketing perspective, Neil, is just we have to scale our marketing efforts to keep up with our sales force. We received some outside investment from Goldman Sachs. Kennet partners last year really gave us the ability to kind of invest out in front of our revenue. We're scaling up our sales force very aggressively. And so to kind of keep pace with that, we're really focused on also scaling our awareness activities, our demand generation activities, and also kind of helping to attract and build out that partner channel. Our two key outcomes there from a marketing perspective is really answering the who is Nuxeo question before our sales force has to. And then obviously number two, and kind of the thing that marketing's always asked for, is can you put more well-qualified leads into the hands of both our partners and our sales force. So really our focus is on growth overall and driving that growth both through a product and having specific solutions, as well as really scaling out our demand generation and awareness activities to support our sales efforts.
Now, like any company in this age of hyper change, you've constantly got to evolve and adapt. So I've got to ask, what are your biggest challenges and equally opportunities at the moment at Nuxeo?
Yeah, it's funny how challenges and opportunities kind of come out to be synonymous. We used to, at EMC, joke all the time when we were presented with a new business challenge, we used to say, thank you for the opportunity. So number one, from a challenge perspective and opportunity perspective, I touched on it earlier, but it's solutions. We start with the ones that we are going to build ourselves, but more importantly, really looking to attract partners who want to make that investment on top of our platform, build out specific solutions, and that's for specific verticals, specific geographies, and really also getting the go-to-market component around that right. Our vision really is to align and bring partners in to help us build out a marketplace where customers can come access solutions directly, as well as different points of integration and components for our platform. So our goal there is to kind of produce a solutions factory and also have a commercial marketplace that goes along with it that makes it easier for customers to access those solutions, whether we build them or our partners build them. Other challenges and opportunities that we see, a simple thing for a startup is all about awareness. Now, we talk about global awareness, but it's really about focus, getting the right awareness in the right geography, right verticals, around the right use cases with the right personas. So it is about building awareness, but it's being very targeted in the way that we build out awareness so that the right people are hearing about us. And then, I think the final thing I'd tell you about is just growth creates its own opportunities and challenges. As we continue to grow, how do we attract really good people? That's a key focus for us. How do we add process in the organization, and where do we add process to make sure that we can sustain that growth and do it in an intelligent way? And then underneath all of that, how do you scale out your infrastructure to support a larger organization? So kind of a product, a marketing, and an organizational answer for you. But those are some of the key challenges that we see moving forward.
Now, Nuxeo, like I said earlier, has a passion for innovation, growth, and creating a bright future for itself and its customers by essentially helping them to succeed. Do you think that's your company's secret sauce, or is it something else, do you think?
Yeah, I think you've got it exactly right there. Number one, it's all about customer success. I like to point out that we're a subscription business, so our churn rate, renewals are really important to us. And the bottom line is, if your customers aren't getting value from your technology, you're in big trouble. So we have a customer success organization that's dedicated to helping our customers, once they've purchased our technology, get live on that technology and to continuously get more value from that technology as they move forward. I think the other part of the secret sauce is really about innovation. As an organization, our vision is to be the next generation market leader in content services, or if you will, enterprise content management. And the bottom line there is you just don't get there by resting on your laurels. It's so easy to kind of think that you're out in front of the market from a technology standpoint, and we truly do, but you can't rest on those laurels. You can't wait for the competition to catch up. So the other part of our secret sauce is just to keep driving forward from an innovation agenda standpoint. Our goal is really to force the rest of the market to keep up with us.
So what's your grand vision for 2018 for content services and enterprise content management all at Nuxeo there? What's your grand vision?
Oh, how much time do you have? I'll focus on a few things. And we talked earlier about bringing information together, presenting to the business, and making it more accessible. We really believe that artificial intelligence and machine learning technologies are going to play a huge role in that moving forward. When we think about artificial intelligence, you're beginning to see examples of this already. One of the key challenges for these types of technologies is, when you think about an image, when you think about a video, or even a document, is how do you describe that in such a way as to make it easy for people to find, reuse, and access? So when we ingest information into our repository, or even when we look at information in other repositories, a big part of what we want to do is kind of enrich that content. We want to apply metadata to it, because that metadata is really what gives it shape and form. So we're beginning to see early examples already of how we can apply AI technologies like Google Vision, Amazon Recognition, to help us enrich content, tag images, video, other assets as we ingest it into our repository. And we believe a real investment there will help make it easier for companies to put more and more information under management in our platform. But as we go further out, we see opportunities for artificial intelligence. I talked about case management earlier. That's a lot about business processes, workflows, and how we route information. And we think we can apply artificial intelligence there to begin to automate decision making, kind of what we would talk about in terms of self-learning business processes. And kind of phase 3, we start thinking about things like cognitive content, where information finds you rather than you having to go out and find information. Systems that become aware of your preferences and how you like to consume information, what kind of work you do, what information you routinely need, and then can more accurately, more predictively deliver that information to you. So a lot of excitement about artificial intelligence, machine learning. Clearly, a couple other areas, SaaS solutions, all about getting more value from our technology. We've talked about that a lot, having a commercial marketplace that sits behind that. And then finally, platforms, and particularly content services platforms, are all about connectivity. So as part of our vision and our investment, it's really foundationally, we're API first. We make it easy for you to plug into any environment, but we also recognize that our customers want out-of-the-box connectivity to the tools and systems they use every day. That means we've got to be able to reach into various repositories and environments to get information out. And we also need to be able to serve that information up inside of the various productivity and kind of enterprise business tools that customers use. So if you think about, for example, an accounts payable transaction where you're inside an ERP application, you still want access to your POs, your invoices, your documentation that goes along with that. You don't want to step out of that environment. Instead, you want to be able to access that information directly. So really, at the end of the day, for 2018, we're focused on AI and machine learning, SaaS and solutions, and really improving our out-of-the-box connectivity to these different tools and systems that our customers use.
Oh, you make it sound so easy, don't you?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of work that goes behind that, and I have a fantastic engineering team that's going to help us get there.
Finally, can I ask that you point the listeners in the direction of where they can find out more information about Nuxeo, or equally contact a member of your team if they've got any questions about any of the topics we've discussed today?
You bet. So first and foremost, I'd point people to our website, www.nuxeo.com, and Nuxeo is Nuxeo. In case your listeners are wondering. We also offer on our website, we are actually an open source technology, so you can get trial downloads, demos, all accessible through the website. You are certainly welcome to follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. And Neil, I'd like to do something a little bit different today. So if your listeners have questions or want to reach out, they can reach me directly at cmclaughlin@nuxeo.com. That's CMCLAUGHLIN @nuxeo.com.
Fantastic. I hope you don't live to regret that and end up with a bulging mailbox.
Either. We like the personal touch here.
Fantastic. And you really seem to be doing that as well. I mean, any startups that are searching for that secret sauce, I think you've unwittingly revealed it there today, because the secret sauce, from what I can see that you've got there, is it's all about your customers' success. It's about getting the value from technology, not resting on your laurels and not being afraid to innovate and move forward. But ultimately, it's about solutions. And you highlighted that perfectly today. So a big thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Neil. Really enjoyed it.
I think it's easy to see why Nuxeo was named as a visionary in the 2017 Gartner Magic Quadrant for content services platforms. And I think it's Nuxeo's API-first approach with that modern architecture, proven scalability and performance that make it easier for customers to quickly implement its platform for diverse content. And also, of course, digital asset management needs, and to rapidly achieve that business value, because that is what it's all about. Because in this digital age, they seem to recognise that organisations are continuously seeking new ways to better manage their content and information assets. Again, it's all about their customers. Like we mentioned a few times in the podcast today, the secret sauce to success is not about focusing on your own, but actually more about your customer's success. And ultimately, it's about solutions. That was my big takeaway. But let me pass the baton over to you. What are your thoughts? Nobody's interested in me shouting my opinions in a room on my own. It's time for you to offer your insights, your experiences, all by engaging with your friendly podcast host. And you can do that, of course, by emailing me at techblogwriter@outlook.com, tweet me at Neil C. Hughes, or drop me a line over at my website, techblogwriter.co.uk. Now, before I go, a huge thank you as well for putting up with my croaky voice the last couple of days. I have been suffering with the whole man flu, but I think we're getting somewhere now. So I'm going to rest these vocal cords a little more and walk off into the sunset with a box of tissues and say, until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thanks for listening to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Until next time, remember, technology is best when it brings people together.